A thumbnail is what your viewer will most likely click on when they see your video in a search engine results page. I'm gonna show you a 5-step process for making killer thumbnails that'll get you more views on your videos, so stick around. Your thumbnail is actually the most important part of getting views on YouTube. When a viewer searches on YouTube, they'll see your video in the search engine results page. They'll most likely read the title and then look at the thumbnail like the back of a DVD case or a Netflix video. Your job with the thumbnail is to reinforce the value of your title with a high impact image. As a business owner or marketer, you need to avoid the trap of making thumbnails that are wild and crazy like a YouTube star. You wanna avoid what we call rainbow barf. You don't need to be loud and obnoxious to get attention. Remember, you're branding your company. I'm gonna show you how to create thumbnails that will win the click. There's lots of different software that you can use to edit your thumbnails. We chose to show you this example on Canva because it's free and it's available to everyone. But if you're a Photoshop Pro or a PicMonkey Pro, feel free to use any software you want. The first step in creating the high impact thumbnails are to create the assets. The assets are the individual components that make up your thumbnail. Those assets are an image, a background, your branding, your text, and your clickability factor. What you want to do first is take 20 to 30 high definition photos of yourself. It's very important that the background you choose is a plain colored wall. Make sure that all of your images are from the waist up and they must be taken with a high definition camera. Your smartphone is a perfect tool for this type of task. That will give you the ability to zoom in and out and to change the size of your face and your shirt when you're editing. As far as dress attire, you should wear what your customers are gonna see you wearing. If on average you wear a sport coat, then by all means wear a sport coat in your thumbnail images. You don't need to look extra fancy or extra casual. You should look the way you look on an average day. Let's talk about posing. For each image, you should take a different pose. Now, a good rule of thumb is to look at the emojis on your phone and follow the emojis for your poses. For example, happy, sad, confused, rolling eyes, tired, surprised, shocked, etc. It's also important that you use your hands to tell the story. For example, shrug, point up, point down, point to the left, point to the right, and so forth. Here's an action step. Schedule a time in your calendar right now to shoot your thumbnail photos. And if you don't have someone that can help you take those photos, then put your camera or your smartphone on a tripod and press the record button to record video. Then assume each pose for 5 seconds and hold. You can always go back and take a screenshot of the held pose and use it as an image. Once the photo images are taken, you want to go to a website called remove.bg. Remove.bg is a free website where you can upload your photos and remove yourself from the background. It's extremely important that you take yourself out of those images, which is why you want to shoot these photos against a plain colored wall. You can do all your photos at once, which is what I recommend. Now you should have an entire collection of pre-made thumbnail posed images. Let's move on to the background. The background of your thumbnail should reflect the type of business that you're in. For example, if your branding colors are blue and gold, then it makes sense to have a blue and gold background. In most cases, I will suggest that you use a plain colored background with an element or two of color design. You can easily get something like this made at fiverr.com or using your basic graphic design skills. Take a look at the different types of backgrounds I've made for my channel. Notice how each background design has the same or similar branding, but it's organized and placed in slightly different ways that help me to keep the thumbnails looking fresh. Take a look at Scott Weiss, a certified financial planner that uploads to YouTube. Look at how his thumbnails have all the same basic design with simple variations that make his channel look diversified and unique. I recommend that you create at least 5 different background designs. Once created, go to canva.com and start a document that is 1280 by 720 pixels. Add your background design to each image and repeat this 5 times. Now you've got 5 different palettes that you can add your images to create thumbnails on the fly. Now that you've got your first 2 main components ready, let's move on to the branding component. Your branding should be a simple logo or icon that is is placed on the thumbnail in the exact same place for every single thumbnail. This is incredibly important for creating visual brand recognition on YouTube. Now, you can experiment with putting your icon or logo in the upper left-hand corner, the upper right-hand corner, or the lower left-hand corner. But avoid the lower right-hand corner, because when you upload your video on YouTube, the YouTube platform will add an overlay that will cover up your logo. Let's talk about text. The text of your thumbnail image is extremely important for winning the click. The text of the thumbnail is designed to encourage your viewer to click. The thumbnail text should never be more than 4 words. Your thumbnail text should never, ever restate the title. In fact, the thumbnail text is designed to create emotion that reinforces the title. So when writing your thumbnail text, you have to ask yourself, how do I want the viewer to feel? Here's how that works on YouTube. Your viewer will search for a video on YouTube, and your video will appear on the search engine results page. Your viewer will read the title, and then they'll look at the thumbnail for justification for clicking. So it's important the thumbnail text doesn't just simply repeat what they've already read, but instead creates an emotion that will cause the viewer to click. For this example, let's say our video is titled, How to Save Time with Blue Widgets. As we make our thumbnail, we want our viewer to feel the emotion of saving time, so our thumbnail text could say something like, time-saving widget. We could also add the words, more free time. In both these examples, the text reinforces the title and puts the viewer in the after state emotion we want them to feel. It's time now to add a clickability factor. A clickability factor is an icon or a design element that provides a visual cue for the viewer to click. Anthony Ambrose does an excellent job of adding clickability factors into his thumbnails. Roger Wakefield is a plumber, and he's also done a fantastic job of adding clickability factors into his thumbnails. Adding a clickability factor to each thumbnail will increase your click-through rate. Going back to our example of time-saving widgets, we might add a clickability factor of a clock icon. So I'll go to a free icon website, I'll find a clock icon and copy it, then add it to my thumbnail in Canva. Now we've added a visual cue that completes our thumbnail and gives us a very clickable thumbnail design. That's it. You've now got a very scalable system for making very clickable thumbnails for all your YouTube videos. But don't stop watching here. Click on the video you see on your screen now to continue your journey learning how to master YouTube for social media marketing. In this interview, you're gonna learn a ton about how to measure your YouTube channel and the analytics you should be paying attention to. Click on the video now, and I'll see you there.